All right. What is up, everybody? I haven't done a recording like this very, very long time. Hello. I still do this, or I tried to do it, but here we are. Um, kind of wasn't expecting you to talk about this. 2XKO, it's official. Done. The League of Legends fighter. That probably was going to be the closest thing I'm going to get to touching League of Legends. That wasn't Arcane. Well, now 2XAO is going to be ending in its active development in December, and got a lot to talk about, man. We do have a lot to talk about. I don't have any notes set up right now because I actually do want to kind of have sort of a breakdown portion of this. So once I get that all figured out, I'll record that section. So we'll see how that goes. But with that being said, let me just go with like my raw thought. I have said, many times on the podcast, and I don't know if I've said it on stream, but I've definitely said it more than a couple occasions, but I genuinely thought this game had potential to be one of the top games, just in top like fighting games in recent memory. The biggest problem that it had going for it was, well, once it launched, the roster was tiny, mechanically dense. The simple controls ended up becoming more convoluted than it needed to be. Now, obviously, if you play through it and you invest a lot of time into it, because I have about, I believe, like 95 hours last time I checked on PlayStation, I definitely got used to it. I do agree that it is kind of weird, the whole Special 1, Special 2, and then how supers were and all that stuff. It was weird, but eventually I got used to it. Like I argued, it's kind of the reason that why I exclusively play that game on stick, preferably. Like I tried playing that on controller, and I'm just gonna be so honest, I just couldn't get around it. But I know people have made that work, so there's definitely a lot to talk about, man. We're gonna go through this article. We're gonna talk about the statement and just kind of like what are my general thoughts on the end of 2XKO. And let's just get right to it, man. So 2XKO active development will end in December 2026. Active development will conclude at the end of 2026. Over the last few months, we've been monitoring 2XKO's trajectory closely, and what we've seen is painting a clear, consistent picture. While a lot of you jumped in to try the game, and there's an incredible community that plays every day, we haven't seen enough players stick with the game to get to a path towards sustainability. So, TLDR, they basically saw that a lot of people jumped onto it, they tried it, and some stick, but many didn't. It was pretty much a solely multiplayer fighting game. And the last time that we had a situation like that was Street Fighter V, and it had a rough launch, man. I didn't participate in Street Fighter V that much, but I was definitely an outsider looking in, and holy, that was a rough time for that game. I mean, eventually it got better, but the fact that 2XKO doesn't even get the chance to redeem itself, it's just very unfortunate, man. And I hate to see that, this game came out in January this year. It's August. It died 8 months into the year. Like I said, the single player content was very lacking. I mean, the most you had was trials and arcade mode, quote unquote arcade mode, which was, I believe it's called like bot beatdown. And all you did was just get a color out of it. Cool, but not really something a lot of people wanted to do. Well, servers will remain on beyond 2026, and 2XKO will be playable on all platforms. Through the rest of 2026, we'll be introducing content, feature improvements, and 2 new champions, Lux and Samira, with the intent to deliver our final bug fix patch in December of this year. After that, servers will remain on to support online play. Offline play is unaffected. We'll give advance notice if any of that changes. So, it's that last sentence that concerns me, because this game is a live service, and Riot could just turn those servers off if it's just costing them too much money. And especially because there's rumors that they're going to be doing like an MMO or something like that. Now, the fucked up part of me is like, I'm not going to lie, I think it would work. Doing a fighting game is a very hard thing to do in comparison to an MMO. The problem being, is that you have a juggernaut in the MMO space that is Final Fantasy XIV and the World of Warcraft franchise that are still going. So Riot just trying to dip their toes into that. I mean, are you really going to be able to pull that off? I mean, they have a better chance. The world kind of lends itself to it. I don't know what else to really say, man. This just upsets me like so goddamn much. Just this was the game that I was going to probably start like a ranked grind series, but now I gotta make a pivot to that. I mean, I could try, but I don't know if the matchmaking's gonna lend itself, because it's now at the point that's like now the goodwill or the community feel of the game is not gonna really be trying ranked, and I don't mind that at all. I'm used to playing casuals on fighting games for the most part. Like the only games I really want to play ranked on now, mostly Guilty Gear, Street Fighter 6, and then eventually I'm gonna get to Tokon, but I want to see when the matchmaking gets adjusted, which supposedly is a patch next week. I do plan to still play this game, at least occasionally. I'll at least check out Lux and Samira when they do drop. And, you know, I could only say, like, fingers crossed, maybe something will happen. But, no, man, I just don't have a lot of hope in this. It sucks, because this was one of the fighting games. This was, like, my comfort fighting game. I could say that for certain. There were just times that I just randomly go into the lab, just try out Thresh and Warwick just to see what I can make work, and I had a lot of fun doing that. This game just was a lot of fun doing just labbing. And then just playing the game, that was a different story. I enjoyed it, man. Like, I enjoyed it even more. And it just sucks that they're taking this away. We're unlocking all champs. We're also bundling most cosmetic items and refunding all money spent in 2XKO on or before August 20th. Any content owned is yours to keep. Avatar and player profile items will be unlockable for credits. This will happen in patch 1.3.1 in September. More info on this below. So that is one thing I'm actually shocked about, because this game was heavy on cosmetics, dude. Like, if we got to talk about cosmetics, dude, a lot of the prices of those cosmetics were the lowest being $20, and then the highest was $100. And I already knew, like, out the gate, I was like, I think this is gonna be one of the reasons this game could die, because they're not gonna be able to get that much money, because, well, they're charging Valorant prices for cosmetics. That shit was just not gonna work, man. It wasn't going to work, and they didn't really give a reason to, like, grind out the game, because I don't know about you guys. I mean, I love skins in fighting games, but I don't like forking that much money over for cosmetics. Like, if it's cool, all right, I'll drop a couple bucks. But if it's priced the way it is and they're practically bundles, I got no reason to do it. That's just the best way to put it, man. Our goal now is to do right by the players who have invested in us so far, and that's not gonna last, and want to continue playing 2XKO, as well as the rioters who have poured everything into delivering on the stream. The rest of this post goes into detail on how we got here, what's changing, and what's still to come. So there was definitely, like, a lot of things that I honestly am still, like, I'm just worried in general about this game, because this could be a local, like, you know, that local gem game, but the problem is will this, let's just say they just randomly turn off the servers, like, are people still going to be able to even fucking download this game? I don't know. That's what I'm concerned about, because if this game just gets just straight up delisted, that's gonna fucking suck, man. Like, I do not want to see that happen. Our dream was to build a game that the fighting game community would love to play with their friends. We wanted to be respectful of the incredible games that came before ours and bring Riot's take on live service to a new set of hungry players. All right, I want to talk about that. So the problem with live service and fighting games is, let's just be real, they have to figure out a way to make income work. And Multiverses attempted something. It was not good. And Riot's now the second victim of this, especially with 2XKO. Because, you know, the cosmetics can be as cool as they are, but if they're too expensive and you're asking the FGC to shell out that much money, I hate to break it to you, dude. You're in the wrong fucking community for that. And Multiverses had like a better chance because obviously it's a licensed platform fighter with Warner Brothers. Like they had freaking Bugs Bunny, Tom and Jerry, Batman, Superman, all those characters. They had a better chance of selling that stuff, but people still didn't want to buy it. So how are you going to make people who, let's be real, League of Legends is popular, but it's not popular enough for a lot of casual. Like, I'll be so frank with you, dude. Like, I always heard about League of Legends, and all I could say is I don't know anybody. I don't have a clue who is who. And once Arcane kind of rolled around, I was just like, okay, I at least know Jinx, Vi, Echo, and Caitlyn. And that's as far as it went. But after that, you couldn't tell me that there was a feral dog and a little tree scout and a Grim Reaper man just running around. Like, I wouldn't have known that until 2XKO existed. So our approach was to tackle some of the issues that we knew the FGC struggled with by building more reliable netcode, making the ranked grind less lonely, committing to more frequent game updates, and more. While the genre progressed significantly in the last 10 or so years, we believe 2X delivered on many of these promises. Okay, I will give them this. The netcode was fucking amazing. The only time like we would struggle with netcode, it's quite literally somebody was just lagging that much. I'm sorry, Trev, that's you. The ranked run, I did not even get a chance to even start, but I know like at some point, like the ranked system, like I heard their matchmaking just got way out of whack at some point. And I don't know if that was maybe because you started to reach like the challenger ranks, which are like, I believe it's like top 500 players. But I think around that point, that's when the ranks were starting to get a little iffy. But even then, I probably would have. I really couldn't tell you because sometimes the game would take a minute, but once you get in the game, oh dude, it just felt like heaven. It practically felt like you were just sitting right next to the person. It was good. It was great even. The more frequent game updates. Okay, this one's hard to think about because in one of my notes, I actually did say that I feel like the frequent update thing, I think on paper works. Like it definitely does help with the game lifecycle. But the problem is then sometimes these updates just didn't fucking matter. Like I'll be so for real. There were just times that I was like, I always wondered, like, is Echo, Yasuo, or Ari getting nerfed? They got slaps on the wrists, maybe. Like, even if Yasuo got gutted, like, so goddamn much, that character is still fucking strong, dude. And, I mean, as far as, like, even, like, other characters, like, Warwick specifically, like, they pretty much took away, like, one of his best gimmicks being his mix with his overhead. And once they made the overhead slower, I was like, oh, God, this character's kind of doesn't have anything. He's a little sauceless. And then, of course, the millions of Alawi bug fixes. I remember there was the Vi change that was pretty much like you could charge the, I believe it's her S1, the flying fist, during a tag out. The fact that they took that away, I was just like, dude, come on. It's like it made a lot of the fun stuff or like the really good stuff just gone. Like I genuinely think this game just didn't have a direction on what it wanted to do with balance. It was pretty much, let's gut the other characters, but we're going to have to make sure that Echo, Yasuo, and Ari were always going to be the top tier characters. This is one of the things that I do have to kind of like constantly remind myself. Free-to-play fighting games should work on paper, especially because nowadays, like, fighting games are expensive, dude. Like, genuinely, like, think about this. I was like a big Mortal Kombat. Me and Gavin were. And you already had to pay $60, $70 for the base game. Then you had to buy several season passes, which were almost like the same price, around like $40, $50 for a bunch of characters, stages, all that fun stuff. That already is like running you up to almost like $200. So the fact that we still don't have a good example of a free-to-play fighting game is genuinely sad. Like, this is like a model that should just work. It makes sense, especially with fighting games, like having a harder barrier of entry because you're spending like $60 only to get mauled online. Again, we're talking like a casual perspective. Take someone like me or like anyone else in the FGC. If you just like fighting games, dude, you're willing to give it a shot. And the best part was, as we said, if the game's just not jiving with you, like after like the initial period, then hey, you could just delete it. It's as simple as that. But I don't know. This one's a little iffy to me. This part of the article is interesting because I will say one of my favorite things about this game was the fact that duo play was a thing and that you could pretty much just take your friends and you guys can just go take on the world together. And in terms of competitiveness, it works. It is a lot harder because you do have to coordinate more versus like obviously in comparison to just playing by yourself and playing the two characters, like, my personal method. But that's not to say that doing the whole duo idea doesn't work. Again, Sonic Fox and Zem, the twins, and then they had the whole Red Bull Kumite tournament like a couple months back, that the all duo tournament. That was really fucking cool that they did that. But again, just seeing that the whole duos thing, I like that idea, and I wish another game maybe would consider doing that, because I felt like that was one thing that was untapped. There wasn't really an incentive to try to do like duo play. It literally was just either you play the game by yourself or you're playing the game with your friend. That's just how it seemed. This part of the article states that they were trying to make a game for the FGC, and it's a double-edged sword on that. On one hand, you're going to have the diehard community that's be like, oh, this shit is cool. Like, I get to do cool things on the screen, man. And especially you play like the Marvel vs. Capcom franchise, you get to do cool shit. The only problem is it quite literally does run into the problem of, onboarding for tag fighters can be a little daunting for other players. So like, say you have people who play, let's say like solely Street Fighter players or solely Tekken players who have never played Tekken Tag 1 or 2. That they have to now think about learning two characters, and then in the case of Tekken, that's an expansive move list for each character. So there's definitely an onboarding thing that could worry people, but then again, that's just kind of like, well, that's just a tag fighter thing. Tag fighters, you always had to. Like, let's put it this way: the only way a tag fighter works, let's just use Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball Fighters, dude. People made that shit work because it's fucking Dragon Ball and it's 3v3. I mean, fuck it, we make it work, dude. Not everyone's gonna like Dragon Ball Fighters, but I will happily say that game just had amazing presentation. It was cool that we had an ArcSys game do their take on a tag fighter, and I just think it's pretty fucking baller. Like, the fact that the game is still getting supported as well. I mean, we got, what is it? At Labco 21, we have a new Goku. I mean, at this point, they may as well just keep updating that game. And I would definitely try to come back to it at some point. Who knows? Maybe my friends will want to do it, but I have to kind of see with them. If you want to read this, go ahead and pause it, or if you want to take a look at the article, I'll link it in the description. This was basically just saying people did not want to spend money on the game because it was, let's put it this way, it's too expensive. And especially with the layoffs earlier this year, cutting half the team, I was like, that should have been a sign that this game might die. I just did not expect it to be like this year. That's still the craziest part. It's like the fact that this game is dying this year. This is basically for anybody who wants to get a bunch of cosmetics. Low key is tempting me because I did not spend money on this game, but $40 for skins for everybody at that point is completely fine with me. And of course, I'm going to check out this character. All I'm going to say is just give her a Sailor Moon color and I'll be content. That's all I'm going to say. They are just taking off a bunch of this stuff right here. Now that I think about it, does that mean the Arcane bundle is just obsolete, or is it going to be part of that the $40 bundle? Oh, that's got me curious. Well, remember what I said about ranked? Well, that's not happening anymore. I will say this one is the oddest one. Why that fuses will still be unlockable through tutorials, but it's whatever. I mean, it literally does not take more than like 5 minutes. 40 players in a private lobby is going to be fucking nuts. I'm going to see like 20 interesting creations, to say the least. Of course, the character that I have some interest in, and she's the last character, which is fucking nuts, dude. I genuinely think this game, it just had so much going against it, and I don't know what else to say. It's a lot to think about, and I'll definitely still try to play 2XK as much as I can. We'll definitely check out Lux and Samira, and maybe just randomly, like if I can do more consistent streaming, like maybe I do more than 2 days, maybe I'll have a 2XKO like section of a stream, or maybe a 2XKO video, something like that, man. But right now, this is just kind of like my kind of sort of raw thoughts after like really thinking about 2XKO. I will try to have a more detailed breakdown of what I think this game did right, what this game did wrong, and what would have possibly saved it, or what could have killed it more. But until then, thank you guys for watching this video. We'll see you next time. Take care, and I'll see you later.